Welcome in. Happy July. For those of you who have not gotten to practice with me yet, my name is Cecilia. I was in CPT class 5, goodness, 3+ years ago, many moons ago. So what I have for you today is going to be a floor sort of flow. So you can grab your pillows, blankets, whatever's going to make you cozy and comfy. And we'll get started. So you can lay down for this first part or be seated. We're going to start with the breath. You can continue grabbing your things if you need to. And as you move around your space and as you get settled into either a seated posture or laying on your back, just noticing your space, noticing the corners in your room, noticing maybe the ceiling, the windows, just whatever it is that you need to notice to ground yourself into this space and to allow yourself to recognize that you are in a supported space and that it is okay for you to take a moment for yourself and do this practice. So as we go through this first part, I am going to stay seated, but this is your practice. So if you end up falling asleep or you just want to take a nap for however long we practice together, that is also okay. Listen to what your body needs in this moment. And as you continue to settle into your space, allowing yourself to soften your gaze or close your eyes. Just noticing what you notice. Could be the sounds in the room, maybe your clothing, maybe the floor beneath you. And then you're going to bring your awareness to your breath. Just noticing your breath without changing it. Noticing your inhale and your exhale. And then if you'd like, and only if you'd like, bring one hand to your heart and one hand over your stomach or your belly. And just once again, noticing how your breath feels here. Just noticing. Maybe you notice the rise and fall of your chest. Maybe you notice the expansion of your ribs. You have the option to just stay here, but if it feels right for you to do so today, we're going to start to expand our inhales and our exhales. So as you inhale, allowing your belly to fill, feeling your ribs open, your chest lift, your collarbones open, and then as you exhale, allowing the belly button to come in towards the spine, the ribs to close, the chest and the collarbones to close. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Continuing to inhale in and exhale out. Allowing yourself to take that full breath at your own pace. Deciding for yourself if you'd prefer to breathe in through the nose and exhale through the nose, Or if you'd like that audible sigh at the end of that exhale. You can be as loud as you want here. You're in your own space. So even if you wanted to, you could take an inhale in and be nice and loud on your exhale. Ah. Whatever feels best for you. We'll be here for about 4 more breaths. And then allowing yourself to return to your natural breath. You had your eyes closed, starting to blink your eyes open. And if you're laying down, working your way towards joining us in a seated position. You had your legs crossed here. Maybe take a moment and extend them out. Give them a little wiggle here. And then finding a seat. Whatever's comfortable for you. And then we're going to sit up nice and tall through the spine. I like to keep my hands kind of holding on to my legs here. I think that's just more of a comfort thing for me. But if you'd like, you can bring your hands towards like the inner part of your knees here, or even the thighs. And we're going to take a nice inhale in and exhale out. And then inhale in. And on your next exhale, dropping your chin down towards your chest. Allowing your head to hang heavy here. Allowing your shoulders to fall away from your ears. Then we'll take some half head rolls here. So allowing your ear to go over towards your shoulder, starting at whichever side feels best for you. And then you inhale. And as you exhale, allowing your chin to come back down towards your chest. And then your other ear over towards your other shoulder. And just go back and forth here. Pairing your movement with the breath. And then once again, allowing your chin to come down towards your chest. And then carefully lifting your gaze. If you have your legs crossed like I do, taking a moment and seeing if you can cross the other direction. If it feels too weird, feel free to cross back to what feels best for you. And from here, we're going to do some seated side stretches here. So we're just allowing our arms to come up, palms towards each other. They may or may not touch. And then exhale them down. And inhaling up. And exhale down. A little bit of a shift here. You're going to inhale up. Then you're going to exhale your right arm down. And then reach, lifting up out of the hips towards the right side. Gaze can be towards the front, or if you want to turn your head towards the side, if that feels better, that's okay too. Continuing to breathe here as we hold the posture and not our breath. And carefully reaching up towards the ceiling and bringing that left arm down. Inhaling both arms up. This time bend at the elbows as you exhale. Coming down through cactus. Inhaling both arms up. And bend at the elbows here. Here comes our shift. We're going to inhale both arms up. Left hand is going to come down to the mat. Lifting up nice and tall. And reach towards that left side any amount. Allowing this to be a new side. And going to the level that's best for this side. And reaching back up and bringing your right arm down. We're going to move into cat and cow. Depending on how your knees and wrists are feeling, you may want to stay seated in that cross-legged position, or maybe in a cobbler's pose or butterfly pose. But I'm going to demo here in this quadruped position, tabletop. So making sure that your wrists are in line with your shoulders, knees in line with the hips. Knees are about hips width distance apart, and deciding for yourself if you want to press the tops of your feet into the mat or curl the toes under. Bring your awareness back to the fingertips, seeing if you can place your weight into those fingertips and the knuckles as well, instead of fully loading all of your weight here into your wrists. Making sure the eyes of your elbows face forward. Neck is long, ears away from the shoulders. And after all those directions, let's take a big inhale in and exhale side out. Noticing how your breath feels in this posture. And then from here, we'll go into our cat and cow. You're going to allow your belly to soften. As you inhale, lifting your chin, bringing your heart through the shoulders, opening those collarbones. And then as you exhale, bringing that belly button in towards the spine, chin towards the chest, tailbone reaches down towards the earth. And then you inhale. And exhale. Let's go back and forth here. So about 3 more here. You may be a little faster or slower than I am. And that's okay. Then we're going to work our way into a child's pose, Balasana. I like to bring my big toes to touch, and I like to bring my knees wider. If you want to be more traditional though, you can zip everything up. And if you find that your hips don't touch your heels here, you can always like grab a blanket and sort of put behind you here, so that when you shift back into your child's pose, you have like a bit of a cushion there. You don't have to, but that's just one of the tips, one of the tricks. Another one, if you want to bring like your blanket, or if you got some pillows and you want to stack them in front of you for more of a resting, restorative posture here, you'll bring big toes to touch, knees wide, and as you shift your hips back, you can align the bolster or your pillows or whatever. You might have to take off your glasses if you wear glasses, or turn your head to one side, and you can be in more of a resting posture here. So it just depends on how you're feeling, what you need. But coming into all fours just for a moment, I'm going to bring my big toes to touch and my knees wide. I'm going to start to shift my hips back. Sometimes I like to shift back and forth a little bit before I fully go into child's pose. I find this can be helpful sometimes. I'm sort of inhaling and exhaling. And then when you're ready, when you have all your comfy cozy things that you want to use, you can shift back into your child's pose. If you need a little more of a stretch, you can grip your mat or the floor or whatever you have with your fingertips, and you'll feel a little more stretch here through the shoulders, potentially. Some people like to shift side to side here. Another way to feel a little bit of a stretch in the upper back and the shoulders. Or you can be still. Allowing your jaw to be soft here. Seeing if you can take full breaths here. If you're in the more traditional posture, you might feel a little harder to breathe, but that's okay. And then carefully lift your head. We're going to come back into our tabletop. You can move all of your things out of the way. And we're going to go into thread the needle here. So I am going to do this first with my left hand, or the one with all the bracelets. So you're going to come back into your tabletop here. Knees are about hips width apart and in line with the hips. Wrists in line with the shoulders here. And you are this time going to press the tops of your feet into the mat. And what I like to do first, before going straight into thread the needle, I like to bring, since I'm going to be moving my left hand, I like to bring my right hand a little more in towards the middle of the mat, or in the middle of your space. You're going to inhale your left arm up, and then you're going to exhale and thread through. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So you can stick with this, or if you want, inhale, and then you're going to thread through, coming towards the shoulder here, and you can extend that right arm out. and stretch here. Continuing to breathe. And then carefully, I like to shift my hips back as I bring my right hand in, and then reach up with the left, and then bring that arm back down. And then the other side, so this time bringing my left hand, or the hand without the bracelets, closer into the middle of the mat here. And the arm with the watch is going to come up as I inhale, and then exhale, thread through. So you'll notice one side, you may have a better, or a bigger, I shouldn't say better, a bigger rotation than the other side. And that's okay. Inhale and exhale. So you can stick with this, or if you'd like to do like we did on the other side, inhale and exhale through, coming towards the shoulder. And then I'd like to extend my left arm out. And continue to breathe here. And then I like to shift my hips back as I bring my arm in, reaching up with that right arm and coming back to your tabletop. Option to curl the toes under and maybe come into a downward dog, or you could do a child's pose here, lifting your knees, shifting back, having as much bend in the knees here as you need. Bringing the eyes of the elbows towards each other here. Bringing the shoulders away from the ears, so you may feel the upper back engage here. And if you'd like, pedal out your feet, or you can shift side to side here, or you can be still. Whatever you choose, continuing to breathe. And then shifting your gaze towards your hands, starting to bend the knees, coming back down onto the mat here. We are going to extend our legs out in front of us. If you want to gather your blanket or pillows again, you can. And you can use them for we're going to do a forward fold here. Let's see. Forward fold. Paschimottanasana. If I said that correctly. Paschimottanasana. Okay, so if you want to use the bolster or blanket, you can. Otherwise, we're going to come into staff first. So sitting up nice and tall, placing your hands at your sides like you're about to lift yourself up off of the ground here with your hands. Inhale, opening the chest and the collarbones, and as you exhale, hinging forward. You can reach towards your feet here if you'd like, or you can place your hands at your shins, thighs, whatever feels good. Or if you need a little extra, and you want to have some cushion here and be here, you can. Whatever feels best for you. And carefully releasing that. We are going to come into Cobra. So sometimes I like to do fun things and come into a cross-legged position and then bring myself forward and then come back into like my all fours here. And then maybe step into plank. And then you can either bring these down or just lower yourself down onto the belly. So one option, if you're like, my low back is just not feeling great today, you can do Sphinx instead. So for Sphinx, you're going to bring your elbow in line with the shoulders here. Palms are flat, facing down, so it's your fingernails that are reaching up towards the sky here. Another thing is to widen your legs here. So if you need like a little more space, you can give yourself a little wiggle and bring your feet more towards the corners of your space or of your mat here. And then engage your glutes to protect your low back. So that's an option. Otherwise, for Cobra, you're gonna bring your legs more towards the middle, palms underneath the shoulders, and we're gonna press up. We're not pressing up very high. Some lineages call this baby cobra, but this is just cobra in other lineages. Shoulders away from the ears, elbows in towards the sides, and breathe. And lower down. Curl your toes under. If you were in Sphinx, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to press up and come through our seated posture here. So the next one that we're going to do is we're going to do legs up the wall. You can absolutely do this without a wall. If you've got blocks and like a bolster like this and a blanket, you can make what they call Stonehenge by placing the two blocks here and then having like your bolster here and then Stonehenge. Or if you want to try coming to the wall, the easiest way is if you sort of scoot yourself to one side here and then lay back and then bring your legs up. So the good thing about this, about waterfall, is it's an inversion. So it helps with like, lymphatic drainage, rest and digestion. And you want it to be your heels and not like trying to be here on the wall, if that makes sense. You can also do this exact posture away from the wall. It is still called waterfall. It is still an inversion. And you just do it without the support of the wall. Allow your shoulders to be soft here. And if you did Stonehenge, your legs are going to be bent. Another option, similar to Stonehenge, is if you have your couch, you can always put your calves and heels on your couch in that bent-legged position. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes and then hold this posture a little longer than we did the others. Noticing if you're clenching your jaw here and bringing either some space between the lips here or just opening the jaw, maybe moving it around, allowing your cheeks to be heavy here. And if you'd like, taking a nice big inhale in and exhale side out. We'll be here for about 4 more breaths. And if you're using the wall, I like to bend my legs here and press myself a little bit from the wall so that I can then roll to the side and press myself up. I find that that's the most supported and easiest for me. And we're going to slowly work our way back away from the wall and then lower back down onto our backs here. Heel toe your feet out just a little bit towards the edges, but not all the way to the edges of your mat if you have that space. Otherwise, heel toe your feet so that they're like hips width distance apart. And then just allow yourself to windshield wiper side to side here. It may be big, maybe small. Just back and forth. And then when you're ready, we'll come to a resting posture. Maybe you want to heel toe your feet all the way out so that your knees fall in towards each other. Or maybe you want to heel toe your feet in so that the soles of the feet come together and the knees are out towards the sides. Maybe you want to take a traditional Shavasana, a traditional resting posture here, and bring the legs long and arms a little bit away from the body here. Giving yourself a moment to figure it out, knowing that this is supposed to be resting posture, so that if that doesn't feel restful in the posture you're in, give yourself permission to move. Don't stay in a posture that feels tense or not restful when the whole purpose is to be in a resting posture. So give yourself that permission to adjust. And you have the option to close your eyes here or soften your gaze. Please feel free to stay in your resting posture. I'm just going to sit up as I guide the last bit of this, but feel free to stay in that resting posture. And as you continue to rest, noticing the support beneath you, allowing that support to aid in grounding you in this resting posture. Noticing how you feel in this moment. Allowing your cheeks to be soft here, your jaw to be soft. Allowing your shoulders to be soft here. Maybe even allowing your shoulders to be heavy so that they rest towards the floor beneath you. And bringing softness through the pelvis, the glutes, the quads, and the hamstrings. Noticing if you're holding them in a tense posture and seeing if you can allow yourself to let go. Allowing your breath to be effortless here. It's breathing in and out. And as you continue to rest here, bringing to mind something that you're grateful for. It can be big or small, but just allowing that gratitude in so that you can open the door, open the path for other great things to come into your life. And you're free to stay in your resting posture as long as you'd like. But as I start to offer some closing words, just a gentle reminder to speak positively to yourself, about yourself, to think positive thoughts about yourself, to extend the same grace, love, and kindness to yourself that you extend to others. And your gentle reminder to continue to make space for yourself so that as you continue to make space for others, you can refill and recharge. If you're ready to close your practice, you can start taking some gentle movements, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, or whatever that looks like for you. But of course, you're free to stay in your resting posture for a while, doing what honors you in this moment, closing your practice in whatever way honors you the most. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.